Booyah. Booyah, it's us. Y'all know what's going on, man. It's your boy, OK Bet, aka K Trades, man. You know what's going on, bro. Sick work today. Sick work. Calls went to 800%. I woke up late, so unfortunately I sold for only 400%. I know, only 400%. We only did 50% on the port today. You know, nothing crazy. Unfortunately, can't see me. But yeah, man. Let's talk about the day. Let's see what happened, man. We had a good day. I ain't gonna lie. We had one of those days, right? We talked about this, right? We talked about how if we were to break up, right? Remember, we were watching this resistance closely. Finally broke up. Day opened. Look, you get a perfect dip buy off that 775. Oh my god, I'm talking about perfect, bro. I'm so pissed. I was asleep because I didn't catch the whole pump, but because I woke up in swings, you know, it didn't matter anyway. Bought calls down here, sold them, got some puts, bought some calls again, and then bought puts intraday for SPX. Ended up smacking on those. You know how we do, man. We can't stop winning in these bull markets. Remember, the bull market is a little difficult to trade, but it's not as hard once you realize that it's just you versus you, right? If the trend is up and the bulls are going to keep being in control, you buy the oversold dips, you buy the dips, breakout retest, you buy it, right? And I mean, I did short this. Like I said, I did take puts. I did take, make a nice little bag of some puts, but it was only for the retest. And because, I still needed to make sure that after this crazy sell, I didn't want to get caught trying to assume that it would have a nasty sell and then just slowly come. That doesn't make any sense, right? We got to have, whenever we lose a level, we have to retest it. Whenever we claim a level, we have to retest it. So we had resistance up here, support down here. Very simple zones. I didn't take puts because by the time I woke up, like I said, we were already up here when I woke up. So I didn't really, we were about right here when I woke up. So I just kind of was chilling. I'm going to go play some basketball. Waited for it. It dumped. Cool. Watched it dump some more. I saw this inverse head and shoulder. I called out this inverse head and shoulder. Hold on. Yeah, called out the inverse head and shoulder. Where was this at? Right up here. Oh, perfect. Look, inverse head and shoulder retest. Breakout retest right here. Right? And this is where we got into the calls. And then we let them go, I think like 40-some% or whatever. So anyway, beautiful day, beautiful day. And it just goes to show that you can still profit even if you miss a crazy move, right? Because by the time I woke up, my port was up like 30%. So I still ended up making some nasty bags. But let's get into the game plan. Let's get into everything. Let's look at the VIX. Let's look at everything, dollar, all that good stuff. VIX is still going down. It's going down, but it's still in that scary pop zone, man. Anytime it gets like 14, 13, I'll be so scared about about it all. But like I said, it doesn't really matter for us. This channel held, the buying channel held. We actually broke out of the buying channel. That's why I ended up going long at right here. Or this is why I ended up going short at right here just for the retest. Retest that level, 776, and then boom, we kind of went from there. So where do we go from here, right? So because we are, again, at all-time highs, we're going to have to use the same levels that we just used today, right? And kind of like what I said about the other levels, whenever you're using new levels, you got to kind of wait to see if they work out first. This is why whenever you're testing levels at all-time high, you have to make sure that you're not going too crazy on the sides. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be like, it bounced here one time, because we still have to make sure, kind of like what we did over here. Remember when we played this over here? We had that upper resistance kind of up here. We had our support, and this is all we had. That's all we had to go off of. Next day we gap up. We had to use the overnight levels, right? We had to use this, right? We had to use the all-time high when we woke up, and then when we woke up, we bought puts at the double top, smacked right back down to our only level that we knew of. You know what I'm saying? So it is a little more difficult, but it's not that difficult when you zoom out and you're patient. Remember how we talked about all you have to do is establish your levels and you just wait for a reaction. I know above 775, all we had is all-time highs. I know below 775, we had 773 and 771. So therefore, we have a range. So look, we came down lower to our support, 770. We bounced up to where? 773. Retested it, tried to reclaim it. We couldn't do it. So we kind of stayed in here at that 771, 773 pin. Then what do we do the next day? 775 all the way back down to 771. What do we do the next day again? 775 all the way back down to 771 and the same level. So you see how it may feel difficult when you're trading intraday, but that's because you're too zoomed in, right? Anytime anyone's like, oh, what happened? Oh, I know for a fact you're too zoomed in. You don't got to tell me. I know. I did the same thing, right? We all got to start somewhere. We all got to learn from something, right? So we learn from our mistakes. So instead of doubling down in the smaller time frames, take a step back. It's not that serious. I promise you, it's not that serious, right? This is not as complicated as people make it seem. It's just a matter of discipline and patience. Even in pre-market, we already kind of saw we were getting a little breakout retest, and we went higher over previous day. I'm actually hurt at the amount of money I missed out on today by not waking up, but it is what it is. So let's get into it. Main levels to watch going into tomorrow. Previous all-time highs at 77675. That is going to be our main major watch as far as the hourly 4-hour closes. So tomorrow, when the market opens up, make sure you're watching that 4-hour hourly. Make sure you have these higher time frames. I know 5-minute, no 15-minute, right? Not even the 30, to be honest, because this is previous all-time high. So this has to be confirmed, and we need a higher time frame to confirm it. And then of course we have just today's high, which is also the the new all-time high. So of course we make sure we're watching that, of course. But if we are, let's say we gap up, if we gap up into this zone, I won't take calls, right? I'll wait for either a breakout retest, a breakdown retest, or nothing, right? Because we know Fridays have a big chance of being choppy, a very, very big chance of chopping all fucking day, right? And you just don't want to be that. You don't want to get stuck in that. You don't want to, waste your whole day. Like if you go back and look, we can go back and look. A lot of Fridays are just absolute garbage. I'm talking about garbage. Look, hot garbage. One move, chop rest of the day. You get one fake out, and then you kind of get a push up. That wasn't that bad. This was not that bad. Look at this Friday. Fake out, up, smack down. Fake out, up, chop, down. Like this is not really. I don't know what it is. Ever since the PDT rule changed, I'm not sure what's going on. But there's always some weird wicks, and then you just get the slow move on Fridays. I don't know what's going on, but I blame PDT. Whenever the PDT rule changed, they started cooking everybody. I'm telling you. But yes, either way, it doesn't matter. Either way, rules apply, right? We do have, remember, whenever we're setting up plays and all that good stuff, you have to have possibilities for either side, right? So we do have an hourly possible double top. Possible, not confirmed. Remember, what is confirmed? Confirmed is when you do what? You double top, 2 tops, and then you break the neckline. So this is the only way this is confirmed is if we lose 776 and 775 again. That is the only way you can call for double tops. I don't want to go on Twitter. Don't listen to nobody telling you the crash is coming. Bro, stop listening to those people. There's people who I've had to even unfollow, and I'm like, bro, why are you spreading this fear to people? Like I've never understood the spread of major market crash. Like what's so appealing about a market crash? Like it makes no sense. Like don't we all want the market to continue to push up? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. But there's not a single signal telling us that this market is about to flash crash and we're gonna go down. Bro, look, we just popped $50 in what, 3 freaking days or 4 freaking days? Like, come on, bro. $50 we just went up in a couple of days. So no, don't expect some crazy market crash. And if the market were to crash, we would have to see a lot of things come in place before that ever happened, right? Before that ever happened, we would have to lose the daily moving averages, right? We would have to lose the 20 moving average. Like for us to flip bearish, we would have to lose all of these moving averages. And you see how extended and how bullish they are, how far apart they're spread. This is extreme bullishness. Stop. Don't listen to nobody who's telling you we're about to crash, right? And even for myself, like I was with one of my students today for end of day, and we caught a nice little bag. Shout out my boy. It's funny because he just signed up for the mentorship yesterday. He got his first bag today, so I'm proud of him. But yeah, man, you don't want to be that person who just always feels like you have to catch a reversal. You have to time the exact top, the exact this. Bro, you just want a piece of the move, right? That's all you want is a piece of the move, gang. You don't need to catch the full thing. Most times we won't catch the full thing, right? Most times we just catch a little piece and be like, man. I'd rather be like, dang, I sold early than to be like, oh, I jumped in and I'm dead wrong and I just lost my bread. You know what I'm saying? So you'd rather be the person who sells early with profit than to be the person who jumps in early just to be completely wrong, you know? So even down here, I was telling people, hey, if we do close back below on this candle, because at this point we had a high and then a low. So remember, whenever we're having intraday moves, for facts, we already know we got a high. facts, we already got like a low, right? So we have a lower high as of now. So not to say that we can't slow grind up, but you want to see it continue to make higher lows, higher highs. You know what I'm saying? You want to kind of see that movement, especially after a crazy shit like this. I don't know what that was about. Like, that was very odd. I will say that dump was very, very odd. I didn't really take it, but I did watch it, and I was like, they just finna pump me dump the whole move just gone. Like, at that point, especially because we came around 775, I was like, bruh, if we lose, we lose this, because we came back all the way down to that little previous support right here. So we had a little double top up here. I'm like, bro, what? We just came all the way down. But here's the good upside to that. If this was just some liquidity, right, they just want to go ahead and get the retest, then they can gap us up and we can continue to run without any hesitation, without any pullback. So you do have to be prepared for that kind of stuff. Like I said, it was weird, but it did hold. It held, And then how do we know? We watch those wicks. Watch those wicks, right? Pop, pop, pop. And then what do? Break out, retest, push. Break out, retest, push, right? And now we're at a breakout, retest zone. And this is why I didn't want to swing any puts or anything like that. Just because I don't want to be that person who's like, yeah, top, this is the top, this is the top. And then tomorrow we open up and we're at 780, right? That's what I would prefer. I prefer Friday to just absolutely just run, bro. Just go. 785, just run, bro. I really want to just buy calls and just go to bed. Like, that's what I prefer. It's easier that way, right? This whole slow chop down, trying to short the market. Remember what I told you on the last video? Trying to short the market, and when it's extremely bullish, you're not going to get easy moves like this, right? That's why this was pretty crazy. That's why I was kind of confused about this. But 80% of the time, when you get pullbacks, they look like this. You get a pullback into the level, low volume, and then you kind of gather bullshit, and then you just like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what we did. We spent, about an hour right here in the zone. How long did we spend right here? An hour. We spent the whole hour just consolidating at lower levels. You see what I'm saying? So, like, even though, yes, from here to here it did go lower, in one candle we're already back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of being patient and watching what you're doing, right? And that's why I was like, nah. But me and my student, we did take puts at the end of the day right here. Because, like I said, all we had to do was watch for that single wick right here, right? Because remember, we had an inside candle. Anytime you have inside candles, just mark the highs and the lows. That's all you got to do. And then look, boom, boom, right? Literally to a T. Got in, got out, right? Big shout out SPX. I love SPX end of day. You make so much. I probably make more money end of day SPX than I do actually day trading. It's strange. But I can never go heavy size, because the one day that you do be like, oh, let me grab a little SPX, you gotta let it run to zero, So I'd rather let $75 go to zero than buy 10 and have 750 go to zero. But it's like that possibility of 750 going to 6 racks. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. But yeah, man, very simple day, man. Simple day, simple game plan, simple everything. Remember, this is as simple as you make it. If you complicate this, it will be complicated. If you keep it simple, it's gonna be simple, right? You don't have to just run amok with your emotions and just kind of be everywhere and I gotta get puts, I gotta get calls, you don't have to buy every position, right? I do it sometimes if I know it's gonna be a good trade. Like, this one was a very simple trade, right? We had the inverse head and shoulder. I literally called this out. I said, hey, inverse head and shoulder, here, out, smack, almost 100%, right? Here, I took the puts here just for this. But like I said, that's just a little small auto. Smacked those puts, got out, called calls again, 99%. So we caught 100%, I think, almost every single day this week. And this is good. It's all about patience. It's all about waiting, right? You don't have to get stuck in something like this. Just let it play out. Let it play out. But I think that's a lot of people's problems. They don't want to. They got to be the first ones in. They got to be the first one. I got to have the highest profit. Remember, this is you versus you. You're not competing with me. You're not competing with the next guy. It's just you versus the market, Get hype on the ass. You know what I'm saying? This is your bread. Lock in. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just make sure that you're not just making dumb mistakes, This is a very easy one. This is the only red candle we had at the beginning of the day. This is the only, so therefore we marked it, right? We're at all-time highs. We don't have many levels yet, so that's what we did, right? And then we just bought. Breakout, nice. Retest, bought some more, and then sold right here at the top of the range. Because, remember, bearish move down. So what does that mean? Whenever we reach areas where we broke down from, what is the first thing we're probably going to do? Break down again. So I sold or bought puts. Excuse me. I bought 778. So I actually bought in the money puts because I knew it would go down, but I didn't want to buy, out the money and then they go like quick out the money and then I didn't know how it was going to play out. But I bought in the money. So whenever I'm scalping, I always buy at the money or in the money puts, or not puts, but whatever the situation may be, just because I'm not looking for a full position. I'm just looking for a quick 20-30%, and it always like clockwork, if it's easier. Now if I would have went 776 puts, I might have made 20%, maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe. But at the money, in the money, these are guaranteed profit, right? Because you're in the money, so the data's not really beating down on you as bad. And then what do? Waited again. I said, hey, if we lose 776.5, I will go short with 1 DTs. Did it happen? No. What do? Consolidate. Oh, fake out, break down, fake breakdown. And then we finally went. And then once we finally went, cool, we're in. And now we're targeting the next place we sold from. Boom. Bought calls, hold them. Boom. Quick in the money. Quick in the money. I think we grabbed the quick in the monies for a scalp, actually. Hold on. Yeah, this is a quick little scalp right here. I said grab 778s for a quick 0 DDD scalp because I didn't want to. This is the thing. Once we started pushing, it was the end of the candle. So I'm like, look, I don't want to. We're gonna cut these here at 12%, and then we're just gonna wait for the pullback and then get in because we bought in when it was super high, but it was pushing. But the way that the 1 DTs were pushing, it was pushing into this rejection zone that I didn't want to have us hold into this. So I was like, look, let's just take the ones off because I knew we would get the move, like we would get the little move, but I didn't want to, take that risk with the ones just because I didn't really have an intention of swinging just yet. So I didn't want to be like, hey, we're grabbing swings now because again, we already knew there was rejections up here. So I didn't know if we'd pull back here. So I was like, hey, let's just take the ones off for now and then we can get back in later on. So that's what we did. Took the ones off, held the zeros, and then zeros ended up smacking 45%. I sold all. I don't know what they went to because, like I said, we're in the money. We bought 778s. So guaranteed profit on those. No losses today. Yeah, man. And another thing, too, for people who are actually in the Discord, I don't call out exact entry prices because it doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter. Unless, of course, like if it's a lotto, then it's a lotto. It don't really matter any fucking way. Like SPX, end of day, it don't matter. But if I'm calling you a position, like if I'm like, hey, we're gonna grab such and such calls, or we're gonna grab such and such puts, the price I got in at does not matter, right? If you're a few minutes behind, whatever, it's rare that the market's just gonna be like, in 1 minute, if I'm like, hey, grab some calls, and then it just 1 minute we get the news, but that's rare. You know what I'm saying? If it looks good, I'm only calling out what I think we should hold, for at least a couple candles. So here, I called the inverse head and shoulder breakout retest. Called the calls here. I did not call the puts here. This was just a scalp. I'm just not looking for nothing crazy. Plus, I understand that sometimes when I'm calling out stuff, you guys are kind of trying to figure out what I'm looking for, and this is why I offer the mentorships to help teach you the charts, because you can follow my trades, you can follow anybody's trades and make a little money here and there, but if you don't understand what you're doing, as soon as the trade goes red or as soon as it goes against you, you're like, oh, at such and such, what do I do? Do we cut? Do we hold? You know what I'm saying? You become this panicked person when the whole time, like this right here, when we grabbed the ones, we had to sit. We just sat. Faked us out a little bit, cool, did not care, right? Remember, as long as we did not go back down, close below this level. Does not matter what the candle does, this is why we buy time. So a lot of people are like, are we holding? Are we this? It don't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Because no level the setup has not been invalidated. So if it's never been invalidated, why are you stressing, right? So when we finally got the pop, then it's like, oh, well, everybody who was scared for 10 minutes, you couldn't wait for 10 minutes, gang. You couldn't hold on for 10 minutes, time. Gotta do better, brother. Y'all gotta do better with that patience. I'm telling you, P for patience. P-A-Y. Patience. Get paid, man. So look, we already had the move was already confirmed. We broke out. This is just consolidation. That's fine. The market's allowed to do this, right? The market is allowed to do this and then still go higher, right? That's what the name of the game is, right? It's not always just gonna vertical, right? That's what everybody thinks. You get into a trade and it's just paid. No, bro. Sometimes it is. This one was very instant. 15 minutes, we were already very, very green, right? Or even this one right here. First candle, we were already very green, 30-40%. So it does happen like that sometimes, but that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for direction, Are we going up or are we going down? Strike price, all that good stuff, like, you know, whatever. But you need to focus on, are you even right first? Y'all worried about what entry did you get? What side? What this? What about this? Bro, focus on the charts first, and then you can start caring about what entry I got. Like that, it does not matter. If I'm telling you calls here and you're like, oh, what price did you get in? And you're waiting for whatever price. Let's say I got in here off this one, and I sold more. I'm like, hey, we're gonna get some more. So I got some more on the retest. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna grab some more. I don't care about what price it is when I'm getting in. I'm not like, oh, let me wait for exactly 0.5. No, that does not matter. It only matters if you don't know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you need to work on your charts first. You need to work on your understanding of why did we get in, right? Don't just be like, oh, I got in because you called it. No, do not just ever get in anything because I called it. Yes, true, high win percentage. I get that. Great, right? It's fun, you know, to have up in the 90% verified, by the way. Check that shit. You think I'm capped? 90% win rate as far as call outs. That's why I don't call out everything I'm in, right? If I called out every scalp or every minuscule, okay, let me take a little put, you know, it would be too much, and that's not what trading is about. We're not here to take every single trade. You know, if I personally see a little pullback coming in here, I might take a little at the money, you know, a little two cons, make a little 50, you know, make a little $50, make a little lunch money, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna tell you, hey, take this put, because that's not even a good trade for me to call out, right? The best trade is what? Breakout, retest, enter, add, boom, retest, add, right? And then if we continue to go up, you can just, trim, not add, I meant trim. But yeah, trim, you know, take profit, take some more profit. You know what I'm saying? As long as we're trending in the right direction, that's all you need to focus on, right? Entry price and what exact price, it's not going to help you, because if I call calls right here, 0 DTs, and they're at 0.5, we didn't see 0.5 ever again for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we never see that price again, we're just not going to get in the trade. You're just not going to take it because you didn't get the exact same price I got. That makes no sense. So don't do that to yourself. Like I said, y'all know where to find me. Okay, bet. On IG, you want to need anything, mentorships, all that stuff, that's where you find me at. Hit me up on there. Or Discord, you know where to find me. But yeah, bro, just y'all gotta breathe. That's one thing I noticed, bro. I'll come back and I'll see 100 messages. I'm like, God dang, we ain't even done nothing. We haven't done anything. Y'all stressing that bad, bro. So you gotta breathe, man. You gotta breathe. Let it play out. What Lil Wayne say? Let it all work out on God. So, you know, that's all we're gonna do. So therefore, tomorrow we're gonna keep it as simple as we can. If we break, if we hold, we dip buy, we target, we target. If we break and we fail, retest, target, break down, retest, target, main target. Probably look for some sort of temporary bounce in here, and then maybe if we want to go lower, something like that, right? But you don't have to anticipate every single candle, because it's not going to do anything but hurt you and mess your brain up, right? I was talking with my students today, and he was like, the charting part, you know, he's getting better understanding, but his main problem is patience, you know, and that's the hardest part about it all. This, I can teach y'all this very quickly. I can teach y'all how to get the levels, when to enter, when to exit. I can teach y'all all that stuff quick. But being in the trade live, being inside of a trade while you're holding $1,000 worth of, you know what I'm saying? You're floating 1,000. You got 1,000 floating out there. So I get it. I understand why it's stressful, why it's painful sometimes. But once you get in the trade, you establish, or before you get in the trade, you've already established your risk. I've already established my reward. So for me, when I caught out that inverse head and shoulder, it's in my eye. I don't know what it was. But when I caught out the inverse head and shoulder, it was at a beautiful spot as well, right? Inverse head and shoulder, we're below VWAP. Boom. The breakout was the simple part. Of course we saw for VWAP, and then what do we do? Breakout. What do? We retested VWAP, and then we pushed, right? So look, man, stop watching them small time frame candles. Lock in. Come talk to me if you need some help. Look, this is not as hard as you make it seem. I promise y'all. I see a lot of people in the chat be like, I hate this. What's going on? Terrible price action. I mean, yeah, it's terrible PA on the smaller time frames. I give you that. It's absolute garbage. When you're watching the 5 minutes, you'll be like, goodness, this is I get it. But when you zoom out, look how clear this looks. Look how clear this is. Look at this. What did you have? Insane, massive breakout. Pullback, right? Below level. So now you're like, okay, cool. Do we either break down and retest, or B, do we break over, retest, and hold? What is the trend? What is the trend? The trend is up. And what is the trend? The trend is your friend. The trend is what? Your friend. So if the trend is your friend, stop fighting them. You know what I'm saying? You don't fight. You might squab with your friends a little bit, but you ain't gonna be fighting your friends, you know, every now and then. You feel what I'm saying? So lock in. Y'all get this money. Let's get this money. Tomorrow's Friday, payday Friday. I will be going live tomorrow with the group, so y'all know where to find me at. If you need anything, yeah, hit me on IG. So if not any further ado, I'm gonna be signing off here. I do hope we gap up. I do hope we absolutely just smack the taste out of this shit. This will be an easy trade. I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite trade so far. If we do gap up, this, oh man, because that's still, even if we get the retest, it's $1 and then 780s right there. So we should get a nice little overshoot. Go ahead and wick that out. So this is what I'll be targeting. I hope we don't open up here already, because then I won't be able to, you know. But it is what it is. But I did take, you know, take a little, you know. So we'll see. Y'all stay up. It's a long video. My fault. I was yapping, but y'all needed it. I needed it. We all needed it. Let's get this patience. Let's get this money. Peace.